Hey, Jim here. I'm building a podcast pro guest course, and frankly, it's quite a journey to build a course. And I thought, why not take you on this journey with me? I want to build a course to help anyone that comes on my podcast to be a better guest, to figure out how to say the right things, how to look great, how to sound great, and how to use the podcast afterwards for marketing themselves and their business, part of their brand kit. So I thought, why don't I take you on the journey with me, and also, frankly, to keep me safe and on the straight and narrow. So I'm going to make this into a series of sort of build in public episodes, just 10 minutes long. I'm using Zoho, the Zoho platform, and I'm using Trainer Central and Zoho one with Work Drive, and I'm going to sort of take you through those platforms as I build. So this isn't very polished. I just thought, why don't I show you how I'm doing it? Maybe it's useful for you, but also then you can see some of the elements and some of the workflow that I've got. Maybe you've got some alternatives. So join me on a Build in Public as we build the Podcast Pro guest course. I'm really working to get this all done over the next 8 weeks. There are 12 modules and some 45 units, and I'm going to use ChatGPT and Descript for doing the editing, and Zoho as my platform. And let's wish us luck. Join me on the journey of trying to get more people onto this course and get them in front of the mic with confidence. Maybe they'll win an Oscar or an Emmy. I don't think I will for this Build in Public video, but maybe it's useful for you. And if you like it, obviously do click below, subscribe. Every time I contribute to the course, I'm going to be making these videos, so you can also learn how to make a video yourself and make a course yourself. All right, cheers. Okay, today is October the 4th, and what I have done today is to start to take the course that I'm building, which is this Podcast Pro Guest course, which looks like this. So this is the course here. Okay. So this is the course I'm building called Have Podcast Hosts Lining Up For You, How to Become the Most In-Demand Podcast Guest in the World. About the course. Okay, so I've written this up. I'm using Trainer Central instead of Kajabi because I found it a bit easier. And then I've already mapped out my course here. What I did was I laid the groundwork by using ChatGPT, and then I wrote this up, made it into different modules. ChatGPT did a little bit of the work, but not by any means all of it, because ChatGPT, I found, came up with things that weren't always quite what we needed. So this is the program. So I did a wireframe first, and you can see here's the preview of the lessons. And at the moment, these are all here. Now, what I've done today, you see here, the material's not here now. So what I've done here today is I'm using Zoho, and what I like about Zoho is in Zoho I've created the work drive with my courses and a Podcast Pro Guest course. What I've done is I've created these modules here, and then I've mirrored these here across all of these. Okay. Now the reason I've done that is because when it comes to editing here, for example, I've got some learning points, but what I'm going to do is I'm creating all of these in Zoho. Okay. And you see here, Unit 1. Okay, why podcasts? In fact, that's going to be Unit. There we go. Why podcasts? So this is Unit 2. Now, what I can do here then is this is some content actually from ChatGPT. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is to take this content and I'm going to make the course in Zoho so that actually we can run this across different platforms if we want to. And it's much easier to create the content in these kind of work folders than to make the content in the Trainer Central because you've got different places that you can put it. You've got the materials, you can add text, so on. So what I found was I was getting confused with all the different places that you can put it in. So I've made it just very simple. So now here, what I can do is I can take my Zoho writer, and you see here that this is the learning point, okay? And actually this is unit 2. Right. And then what I'm doing is I'm then taking these and publishing it, okay, with my organization, okay, and here's a code. I can copy this, and then what I'm going to be doing is putting that into my work drive. I'm going to add in to writer here my image, which I've already got here. Okay, insert that there. Okay, now okay, now see how fiddly these things can be sometimes, right? What I need to do is to figure out how to make a template so that each of these has the same. We'll have to try and figure out creating a template somehow for that. But you can see here now, what I need to do, it seems, is I'm going to need to download as a PDF. Okay. And then I go back into my work drive and then here's my module 1, and we're going to need to then do that. So now I've got module 1 here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out each of these modules, because what's really neat here is that I can add a file from the library, which is things I've already uploaded, but also can you see here, and this is why I'm really doing it, because I can get my PA to then do this. Unit 2. Anyone can apply it. And there it is. So within Zoho tools, I have got those. So what I can do then is I can delete this, because I'm going to make videos to explain this later. So each module will have its own handout and materials, and we can also then, if we want to, do a handout. The handout's going to be more like a quiz, but again you can see how that can be added there. So what I need to do is to decide, this is the materials, and so I guess I need to have one materials, one handout for each of these. So module 1, there needs to be a new folder. One there, and one saying handout. Then each folder will have one of those, and that will make creating each of these materials and handout. Okay, so each module then will have a materials. Just drag and drop in there, and a handout, so that when it comes to my VA, she can just pick and take the content from here to here. And I'm doing that because it's making it more organized for me. Otherwise there's so many documents going back and forwards. I can make sure that I've got all of the documents. And then what we can do is, I'm using Zoho projects. And I've had a look at module 2, and I need to find module 2. If I look at all my module 2, unit 2, so it's module 1, unit 1. So we're going to need to get this a bit tidier. That's the introduction. Right. So what we're going to try and do then is to get those organized so that module 1, why podcasts are the next big thing, and we've got, here we go, module 1, why the next big thing. Now here, this is my learning points. Okay, then this one is in progress. Okay, and it's 70% complete. The next subtask will be add to Trainer Central. Okay, then here I can add another user to my team, because I can invite another user. Right, okay. So what I'm going to need to do here in projects, I need to add a user and add Alex, who's my VA, and then she can start to help me get the tasks added and in there. So that's going to be the workflow. We're going to go from, I first of all mapped it out here in Trainer Central. Then I wrote all of those out here. You see? Okay. And now what I've been doing is putting them all into my work drive under my course. I've got all these modules and all these courses, and that would mean that then module 1, unit 1, we've got module 1, unit 2, materials. There we go. Finally, and if we want to add a description, we can, which is, why podcasts are for you. Okay, and that is going to be my workflow. So that should be quite fun.